Kimberly crouch light kick is now +4 on hit, up from +2. She could already chain into her other lights, so this mostly looks good for counter hit and drive rush stuff. On drive rush it's +8 now, which is enough to link a heavy. But then again, she could already do that with crouch medium kick. Stand heavy punch got a range increase. The range is pretty close to her stand medium kick range, but obviously heavy punch does more damage and has better combo routes, while only being a frame slower. Not to mention, it's her punish counter normal, so this really helps her whiff punish game. It does simply move forward rather than truly having more reach on the limb. And patch notes observe it can still get counterpoked by lows. Kimberly's slide normal got an amusing change that it's now always at worst +1 on hit, even if it's not spaced at all. This would theoretically make it +5 on punish counter, but they added a special clause that if it hits on punish counter in its early frames, it's now a knockdown. It's also at worst -5 on block, when I think it could be up to -9 before. These changes also make it better in drive rush, where it's +5 on hit and -1 on block. But you have better options out of drive rush at these ranges, so it's not super important there, I don't think. Towards heavy kick has a bigger hitbox with a smaller hitbox, making it more effective as a poke, and it builds over twice as much drive gauge if it connects. This move was previously, and is still, somewhat vulnerable to counter hits and perfect parry, but the best replies to Kimberly's follow-up mix-up all allow her to bounce away, so maybe she can use it to get some drive meter back more safely. Elbow drop can only be done past a certain point in your jump arc. Now, if you do it before that point, the game saves the input and simply does the elbow drop at the first available frame. EX runs up kick ender now hits higher up, helping juggle consistency. Run's automatic ender now comes out 2 frames sooner. Without addition select, it's hard for me to test if that gives her any new combos into it. Did it work with mediums before? You might have some new bomb stuff into it too. There's a slew of changes to the opponent's behavior after the EX run up dive ender. But it's hard for me to parse. Patch notes seem to imply they're all just to keep things working normally after a run up duration was made shorter. Light chop is now only -4 on block, which I guess means it's 0 on a burned out opponent. Pushback on hit was reduced, and you're now left +3 in inside throw range, which is quite strong. The opponent's real animation is now different depending on whether you hit late, which makes it easier to tell whether you can link out of it. Finally, level 2 super is more consistent in juggles if you cancel into it mid-air. I've seen it fall out before from an EX Tatsu cancel, I think, which at the time looked unintended and buggy. Kimberly overall got one of the longer change lists of this patch, and most everything is a buff. Notably, a lot of the changes seem to be improving her neutral when she already has a very strong mix-up game, but no individual change looks very impactful apart from possibly the stand hard punch range buff, if it ends up being that good at counterpoking stuff.